started making money doing it. I started getting, all these different, what's the word I'm looking for, I guess, different accolades I'd never heard. Like, you just know how to make people smile, and you know how to make them do things I've never seen them do before. And these are people who are in their 80s and 90s, and most people have given up on. Often seniors feel like they're in the way, when in actuality they paved the way. And so when I found this out, I figured out, like, the more I did the senior communities, the more I could go work on things that I love. And so it came to me that you needed to be able to pay yourself to practice and be able to connect with people that are like-minded, maybe not having the exact same skills or tools. In fact, that's often not good. You need people who have the missing pieces. You don't ever want to be the guy with all the answers in the room. You want to be the guy who knows all the people with the answers in the room. And so when we're building out that business for the senior business, it allowed me to go do some performances. I wrote some songs with some people that like did some stuff. I got to, go backstage at all these festivals and, EDC, VIP, and it was like, because I sang Sinatra for singers.
Right.
That's it.
That's interesting.
And it turned into, how can I reproduce this for others? Because I started hitting a roadblock of, my program only worked if I was the one there, and I can't be more than one place. And so it was about building an ecosystem, incubator of people who, I remember when I first like one of our first big shows as Lincoln Experience. I'm in the Lincoln Park Tribute, and we were talking backstage with all these bands, and this was a year, maybe 2 years ago now. And I was like, if we all join together, like, it's like forming a union, but not so serious, and it's not a contract, but like, we're really taking care of each other. And all they did was just, and no one really bought into it. And then 2 years later, somehow I suckered you. And so now our mission for Legends of Tomorrow is how do we create models, formulas for artists to follow, so their music and their art can be performed, even if it is the thing making them the money. So, you want to be a sculptor of, I don't know, fruits, okay? Let's just say, like, you just love sculpting fruits, but nobody's buying fruit sculpture. Well, I'm going to tell you that if you are really good at mimicking other people's sculptures and you can do a replica, I'll pay you $4,000 for that. And then you can turn that $4,000 into a million little grapes of snow. But, like, that's up to you. Like, the goal is how do you take the things you have, make them valuable, have a repeatable format, and then just do it. Like, Courtney, my girlfriend, who is way smarter than me a lot of the time, she always says, like, I'm not a good salesperson. I just follow the plan. I follow the plan to the T. I don't get to the end and forget to ask for the sale. I just follow it, and if I do it 9 out of 10 times, I get a hit. And so I see that with our music, with our band. It's like 1 or 2 shows doesn't do well, but if you nail it over and over and over, or if you're in a band that doesn't have people showing up, like, there's a way to get them to come to you. You don't have to beg. You can be an artist without the word starving before it.
Yeah, I mean, I think that
was long. You shouldn't have let me talk
No, it was good. If you're just catching up and joining us live, I'm sorry I missed the go live button right at the beginning of the show, but we're talking.
You should play the intro and we'll start over.
I know. We'll do it at the end. We're talking to Jason Heidel, the owner of Legends of Tomorrow and Make Grandma Smile, and we're just kind of catching everybody up to where we're at. But Jason is certainly. Again, he's found a way to turn his passion into a business and help others do the same. So you can contact him at legendsoftomorrowent.com and you can get more info from him. He's building some master classes right now on how to market yourself, how to, we're tackling at Legends of Tomorrow, and I say we because I'm a part of Legends of Tomorrow, that we're tackling all different kinds of media, whether you're doing podcasts, it's all entertainment at the end of the day. And so we have figured out some methods to the madness to just not keep yourself crawling on the ground, trying to figure all this stuff out. We want you to focus on what you're good at, and that's performing. And guys like Jason and Ellie behind the scenes, who's in Fueled by Emo, she's going to be on the show. She doesn't know it yet, but there's a great team behind all this that has figured out a lot of the answers for you. So next, I'm going to bring on another good friend of mine, Mr. Eric Perryman. He's one of the he's just a really great guy. I actually met him through a guitar player that was in my band for a number of years. So it's a big shout out to Albie. Al's a good friend of mine, and I ended up meeting some of his childhood friends, and Eric was one of those guys. And Eric was just had a knack for songwriting and promoting himself as his band as a business. And he started a clothing line called Old Wise Clothing Company. So without further ado, let's bring in my buddy Eric. What's up,
Hey,
buddy?
hey, how you doing?
I'm doing good, man. Just sporting the Selleck mustache,
You like that? Yeah,
the Chris
yeah,
Cornell
fresh,
style. I like it.
fresh, trimmed on the sides here.
Yeah, yeah. So, give us a little bit about your background and your start into music and kind of how it started turning into a business for yourself.
So pretty much, I got my start in music, pretty much when I was about 18, 19 years old. My brother had a cover band, played all around, mostly Bourbon Street, and I was, young and underage, and I always wanted to, do what my older brother was doing. So as soon as I turned 21, I started playing in that band with them, and that evolved just into other cover bands with my friends, some of them being Albie that you've mentioned. And over the past, 13 years, I've just been in and out of a bunch of cover bands with great people, and I capitalize on a very saturated and rich market here in Chicago, which we're pretty blessed to be able to make the kind of living that we do playing music in a city. There's a lot of cities that don't have that. And then slowly but surely, my time in cover bands just led me to, wanting more out of music, and I just started writing my own music and emulating all the stuff that I love that I never got to cover because that's not really what you play in a cover bar. And then slowly but surely, I kind of took the same business approach to the cover bands as I've been doing for the last couple of years of running and owning my own bands, and I just kind of translated it into an original project, which started, which you guys know and a lot of bands know, kind of started as one of those hybrid things where we were still doing the cover band shows on the weekends, and then during the week we were using that same name to be an original band and open for national bands coming through Chicago or any of the suburbs. And then slowly but surely, the original band got busier and busier, and we, started going into the studio and recording. And every song that we did, we were working with bigger and better names. And I just kind of fell so busy with the original stuff and writing music, and like you said, all the marketing that goes behind it, running the website. I'm a designer, so designing all the marketing materials, the logos.
He designed this Band Buzz logo that you
Yeah.
see. So he's also one of my go-to people for that kind of stuff. He's so creative and good.
So yeah, I pretty much was a product of the cover band scene that took as much knowledge as I can from the business aspect of that, and now I am putting it into an original project, which for an original project to actually be making some money is kind of unheard of in some of the cities around the Midwest. But we're having fun, and we're focusing on writing good music. And the other guys in my band, which you guys may know, Nate Vondrack and Frankie Haircut, they play in a bunch of cover bands. So it's really nice for everyone to be able to make their money elsewhere. And when it comes to this project and this nucleus, we just focus on the product of the music.
But
We're
that's
not worried
interesting to
about
me.
playing for money, really.
That's interesting to me that you've taken the formula of cover bands and especially in Chicagoland and how you market yourself and what you have to do because it is saturated, it's competitive to some degree. It's not like we're playing a football game, but at the end of the day, we're all trying to, our band or our concept, we're trying to get it out in front. And you're applying that to your original music and the guys that are in your band. You're also using it as a strategy where playing in a good cover band or something like that that keeps the money flowing a little bit can fund or at least give you that creative outlet to go make your own music.
That's exactly the formula that we've been using. For me, a lot of them, I play solo gigs by myself up until this Corona thing, 4 to 8 times a month, and a lot of that money is just turned around and reinvested into the original project, whether that be with buying gear or recording costs or studio time or even just marketing and sponsoring ads and stuff when you're releasing a single. And a lot of that stuff is pretty important. And I feel like a lot of bands, that are trying to do the original thing, they don't have the budget, to get the attention that they want. And for us, it's really nice to be able to, borrow from some of the cover band money and the cover band tactics to apply it to the original stuff.
That's amazing, Jason. I mean, kind of ping ponging back to you. I mean, listening to Eric's, strategy, and you sort of building strategies for bands. I mean, how would you expand upon like what he's already doing and taking that formula? You have developed some formulas of your own.
Honestly, the thing that I've found that works the best for, well, it's funny because I was talking to an original band about this last month, and then the month before that, and the month before that, and it was the same band, and we were talking about how the band gets tons of reaction, so energy from the crowd, but especially when they happen to do that one cover that they always do. And so I said, I know, doesn't it suck playing to like 20 people? But if a tribute band shows up to a bar, there's a chance it's 100 to 300 people being there sometimes. And it's not always like that. I've played shows for 4 people, but like the consistency is there with the tribute or a cover band. People want to see something that's themed. I mean, theme is where I have come full circle. Working in senior communities, you realize that every day has every day has a holiday, National Pancake Day, and like wear your hat backwards, and like Labrador Day, like everything. And so if you're going to celebrate, you do it right. So you can't do a theme on a flyer and then the event that they show up to has none of that. You just can't. Like, we want to sell not just bands. We want to sell them in an event, full thing, photo booth, the whatever. If you're doing a barbecue, you have squirt gun fights, whatever. Like, keep something that has to do with theme at the event. If everyone's just showing up expecting to see 90s Palooza, like Base Camp does, they do it great. They get every band that they can. It's like 40 bands, right? They nail it. I've seen other people try to do a 90s night with like 5 or 6 bands, and like 3 of the bands weren't even from the 90s.
Right.
So, like they don't even look at that. That is so important because right now people want nostalgia. That's why we see sequels to everything. That's all of our childhood heroes, like Sonic the Hedgehog, are being made and then made. And it's so you realize like people want to feel, and they remember the past memories that made them feel good the strongest. So if you can bring them back to that with your theme, that's why people love pop-up bars, because it's that thing they love again, right? How do we keep them coming again? And so if you can take whatever you're doing, I think it was Down, they were a cover pictures.
Yeah,
and
there's a lot of them like that.
Original tunes. And then, I mean, how many other bands we talked about this? Justin? How many other bands?
Yeah.
So, like you're gonna be an original band. People feel stuff, a song that fit your genre, and at the end of the day, play your song in between. And just like the Jewel, when you're walking through and you hear a song 7 times in the hour you're there, by the 6th time you're like, this song's pretty good. That's all it is. Yeah. You just gotta berate them with stuff in between all the stuff they love. They'll catch it eventually on accident.
Right. I mean, Eric, if you're listening to what Jason's saying, I mean, how do you apply, or can you apply that to what you're doing? I mean, does any of that stuff apply? Like, how can you make your original show more of an event and more of a theme kind of thing? I mean, I think the reason I had both of you on is because it's very sort of different, but maybe there's some similarities and maybe some ways that you can kind of go about this.
Yeah. So as far as, a theme for an original band, I think that can be done. And that's something that either a band collectively wants to do or doesn't want to do. And I think a lot of that comes into, you see bands like Slipknot or, anyone that kind of has that more theatrical performance where they're bringing a theme to their show. And then you get a lot of bands, if you just look at like, whatever, a Pearl Jam or a Alice in Chains or something that just, they don't really want to go that route. I think that route can absolutely be employed if that is something that the band is, all that's part of their vision. Their vision is not only the sound, but it's the theatrical performance. It's like you go see Rammstein or something, and that show is a show. You
Right.
don't go to listen to a show, you go to see a show, right?
Right.
So a rock show, they want to see things
Yeah.
other than
Well, and I would tell you, I'm sorry, I would tell you that I agree with you that that there is a line that's sticky, right?
right.
There's a line that it's like, you guys are doing this because you weren't interesting enough on your own. You needed this, or and I don't think I mean so much that, but more nuance of like the band Mariana's Trench. Like they're an original band from Canada that's never been played on the air in America, and they have sellout tours all across North America, in the U.S. House of Blues, packed to the rafters, and their idea is that each album isn't necessarily like there were concepts, but that wasn't what got me. It wasn't that it was like a concept album. What got me was it was nostalgic things that I loved. The one was called Masterpiece Theater. So I'm a theater kid, and so they did all these kind of old school, like they used Shakespeare lyrics throughout it, like that was the hook. And then the next one was Toy Soldiers, After All, meaning like happy ever after all. And all of it was like toy soldiers and toys and being manipulated as a toy. And then their second to last album was Astoria, Goonies. Every t-shirt they put out, every graphic they put out was 80s and Goonies, and it looked dope, and it made you, even their kids are 14 and 15-year-olds going to their shows, other than the adults like me who are creeping in the back. And like they're selling these shirts out because those kids know that at one time this was cool, and they want the 80s cool now. And so I don't necessarily mean you have to do a concept album, but even in your marketing, there are ways to remind people of things that exist. There's that rapper right now who just got a huge boost because he did a song in tribute to Will Smith, and it got so big that Will Smith and them are like boys now, and they hang out, But like his thing wasn't to be Will Smith. His thing was to be a good rapper who wrote about a thing that's nostalgic.
Yeah, man. Yeah. And that's the nostalgia of life and music is kind of one of the things that drew me initially to country music. It's kind of how a lot of country, it's just, it's stories of the past. It's about growing up at the lake, or, that dirt road at the end of the street where you and your friends go play baseball. And it's just about the stories. And I think you're right. If people can find a way, or bands like me or original bands can find a way to capture that nostalgia in other areas than your music, if that's not what your music calls for, you have some other avenues to be successful with your merch or your marketing. Even if you're doing, some throwback merch with your band name, and you're doing a spin-off of an old logo that's super recognizable, like a Saved by the Bell, but you're doing it with your band, if that kind of fits the style of what you're doing, all kinds of stuff like that. So there's definitely avenues to be able to use that, and I think that's a great strategy.
I was in a band called Shooter McGavin, and they tried to get me to dress up in golf clothes and show up with a putter like Bob Hope on a USO tour. Yeah. And like we were gonna give condoms that like said hole in one on them, like like it was.
That's funny.
That's great, though.
But looking back, like it would have got attention. I also wasn't as comfortable with myself back then. So.
I think that the biggest takeaway from both of your angles is that you have to have a vision. You have to have kind of a vision of how you think it will appeal to the general public. I say this a lot, that there's super talented people out there who kind of don't put those pieces together, and they just play in their basements a lot because they don't have a vision and they don't have a strategy to put their music out in any way. And by the way, if you're watching this on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, Periscope, you can send us a comment and or a question for any of the topics that we hit on tonight, and we can address them live and put them up on the screen. So this is kind of an interactive show. I know it's going to be released as a podcast, but if you have a question for Eric or for Jason about any of their businesses, their bands, or just any of the general music stuff that we're talking about, throw them up in the comments, and we'll certainly try to get them answered for you.
I've got a cool suggestion that maybe if there's some up and coming bands listening to this, if you ever are scrolling through, Instagram, and you have your sound on, and all of a sudden, somebody's sponsored ad will start playing, and it's a picture of their new single or their album cover, and it's playing the song, because it's already on.
Yeah.
I've done a lot of research in like audience retention and how to keep people. And, with most videos or audio, people are going to scroll past it in about 4 seconds. So what I've done with our newest single, shine on is when the video starts, rather than just editing the video and having the song start from the beginning, I started it at the juiciest 4 seconds of the song to hook people in. And then I spliced and edited the song around that to get the rest of the parts to follow after that in order. Because as the song goes longer, people are going to taper off. So you want to hit them with the best parts of the song first. And then as it tapers off, if they make it to the end, they might be like, oh,
I've been telling people this for 3 months, dude. We need to bring back the old Victory Records commercials. All they were the hooks of every emo song that every band ever played for like 2 minutes straight. And it was like victory at the end. That's it. It was just like name of band with cool voiceover. The sickest part of the song. Other band that you love like them. Coolest part of the song. That other band that you forgot about but sounds just like them. Coolest part. And then it was like victory. And that was it. But like, if you tell anybody who saw those commercials about that right now, they're going to be like, I remember that. I remember this one. It came on every afternoon on Saturday. And it's the reason I found Asking Alexandria or whatever. Like, it's the reason I found Atreyu, And so that stuff works. And you know what we're looking into as Legends is you've seen those interactive ads that pop up. Like once you hit them, it like takes you to a website that keeps the video above.
That's what I do for a living at my company.
Right. Like we've been wanting that for bands. So that way, instead of clicking into an event page, like, let's just go get your tickets right now. Like pay for them now. Let's not give them 4 more clicks to change their mind. I went to Dunkin' Donuts and the line was so long, I tried to download the app and the app took longer than the line. So I deleted it.
Yeah.
So how do you streamline your customers? And I think you're nailing it here, Ed. So Eric, you go ahead. But like, how do you streamline your customers to you in a click-based world?
Yeah, this is a really important conversation. We're like tailing into this, but I mean, I think what you're bringing up is a whole, digging into a marketing strategy, which a lot of people don't even look into. Like, how many seconds does somebody look at an Instagram video while they're scrolling by or stop by a Facebook ad or whatever it is? So, I mean, I think you guys are moving right into like segueing into a great part of this conversation, but go ahead, Eric.
A lot of that stuff, it's trial and error too. I've spent years wondering why, you think you have the best song in the world with the coolest video. And you're like, why are people not watching after 15 seconds? And you're looking at your Facebook audience and your performance of the video. You can look at all the analytics and all the data of who's watching from what town at what time and how long they're watching. And it's just been years of me, letting that data kind of sink in and slowly but surely being able to, turn that data into something productive and like, okay, now I kind of get it. You post a 4-minute song. If people are not into it within the first 4 to 5 seconds, they're going to scroll to the next thing on their feed because there's so much. Can I swear? There's so much shit out there. There's so much stuff for people to look at. And nowadays, the attention span of the individual is so short because they've been bombarded with so much information. They either have to visually catch it in a couple seconds or visually hear something in a couple seconds to get them to really even give you the next couple seconds.
You know who did this really well was AJR. If you guys are familiar with the band. Huh?
Who's AJR?
No, so AJR is this band that reminds me a lot of like Fun or Bleachers, but like anthematic. Like that's the word I'm using. I know I made it up, but like anthematic. Everything about every one of their songs. And if you're familiar with the artist John Bellion, they have a familiar and similar sound. And the thing that they do well is that I've heard of them for 4 years, but I only started hearing their music this year. So it took me 4 years of seeing their ads on Facebook and recognizing this little cartoon versions of themselves that they've kind of created around themselves. And because of that social media marketing, before bands were really doing it well and doing it often, they went from nobodies to having, 50, like I think it was like 50 million plays on Spotify, and like they're everywhere. Their music's in commercials, and so they're making a business on multiple streams of revenue from one solid marketing campaign. Rod Tough Curls does this a great job. I get that they're sponsored. Not every band is lucky to be sponsored, but if you're not familiar with them, Rod Tough Curls is this, and the Bench Press is this really cool band or cover band from Chicago, and they do these wonderful shows, and they have the shortest shorts I've ever seen a man wear live on stage consecutively. And they're sponsored by Bud Light Lime, and every one of their ads looks like you are a fan of their page already. Every single one of them, because it's either them all in tuxes looking cool, or them in like swimwear looking cool, holding the Bud Light Lime. And so it feels like you've already been following them. Once you click it, all of a sudden you start seeing their posts, and it's just like every post is thoughtful, and they took the time. And I get that it doesn't always work, you're right, but like there is something to be said about time put into marketing.
Absolutely. Yeah. And I think I'm going to leave it with one more thing, because I'm sure Justin got a lot more he wants to touch on. But, I think, nowadays social media is a huge, powerful tool for a lot of bands that, they wouldn't have that exposure otherwise. But at the same time, it's a big feat. It's a big jump, because it allows every other band that platform. So it kind of levels the playing field, where nowadays, it's not as much about how great the music is. It's about how well you can market or sell that music or get people to see it. So you're really competing with other bands' marketing strategies. You're not competing with, businesses are always competing for business, from people, but we're competing with other businesses and other bands for people's attention, really, is what you're trying to do. And to be able to use sponsored ads and stuff is a great thing. And I encourage people to go ahead and use it, but don't expect to have great results at first. It takes time to figure it out. It takes research.
Consistency.
Like I said, there's a million bands probably within a 10-mile radius of me right now that are sponsoring an ad to promote their new song. And that's why you're scrolling through Instagram and Facebook, and you just see single after single after single after single of people doing that. And it's great. And it's great if you can do it well.
Eric, I got a weird question for you. Justin, can I hijack for a sec?
Sure, go ahead.
What do you think about a cover band or a tribute band writing an original songs? Like, for instance, my Linkin Park tribute had written a song that just was kind of in honor of Chester. It inspired us. It felt good. And so we did it. We haven't released it or anything, but it's something we have, and it's been a debate of, is it valuable as a marketing tool, or is it just ego filling?
I mean, I think anybody writing a song is valuable, because you have a message. At the end of the day, just because you play in a Linkin Park band with a bunch of other guys doesn't mean that's who you guys are. That's
totally,
you're a musician. You're a
I think I'm talking finite time resources. So like, there's no, like, me and Justin have our hands in way too many things. We have about 12 things and only 10 fingers. But like the let's say the band who only this is their life, right? But they also have a full-time job that gets them 60 hours a week. And so it hasn't quite made that jump yet, where they've gone from this is a hobby to this is a profession. Does that person spend the time to create something original and really produce it well and put it out? Is that valuable for a cover band? In your opinion, or how valuable is it?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's a pretty subjective question to the individual, as to, like Justin talked about, is the long-term vision of what someone wants to do. I think anybody writing music and being able to express themselves, outside of doing their cover stuff has value. And, like you said, there might be some guys in the band that see more value in it than the other guys, because you get a lot of guys that they're just happy playing in cover bands and making their money on the weekends and going home to their wives and kids and, going to their job. And for them, that might not be worth it to put in all this time into an original song. Whereas you get, someone like you or I in a cover band that we're kind of there just to keep our chops up and use it as a way to fuel our own music. We do see the value in that. Right. So it kind of comes down to, collectively as a group, how are you going to, weave that in, or are you going to weave that into the band?
So what you're saying is I'm right and my other band members are wrong. Cool.
Exactly.
Yes. I think that it does one more thing. I think that it also can separate you with a niche that maybe, because a lot of things with like cover bands or tributes even is like, you don't own that. And as soon as people see you doing something that makes money, for instance, when I first started our Gravity, the John Mayer experience, it was like immediately after that, I saw that some bar in downtown was going to do a John Mayer tribute night, because they saw the marketing and stuff that we were doing and they were going to mimic it. So anything that you do that's like a cover, you don't own that stuff. You don't own that music. You don't own that thing. And there's going to be a bunch of Johnny come latelys. And I think maybe writing an original song in the character of maybe that sometimes lends itself to you having something special that people can walk away with, that your experience is different than maybe the other band who is just going to play song after song, just the way that the record is or whatever. If you figure out some ways, for instance, some things that we did was even play covers of covers, in the way that John Mayer might do, Dreams by Fleetwood Mac or, something like that. And that's something that Sam Stacy, who I'm going to have on the show, is really good at. He has his style. It's John Mayer-esque, but he's writing his own music and he's doing things. And I think that when people go follow him, that's an add to the tribute band, but you can juggle both. And I think a lot of people think that you can't do that. And I disagree with that sentiment, but not enough bands are willing to take the plunge and give it a try,
Yeah, for sure.
So we're going to let Jason
borrow from something that's already successful and borrow from that to add to what you're trying to create.
Yeah. And I think that's how you pioneer something and move it forward. It's like, a lot of musical styles I see it. You look at sort of the alternative genre now. A lot of it has like dance beat, techno kind of stuff in it, but it's like alternative music, like Foster the People or something like that. It's very like pioneering to take different styles and like sounds and then move the ball forward. And I mean, I think that's how things evolve.
Yeah.
So I'm going to let Jason go prep for a second, and we're going to hear him play some music, which is very special and a great part of the show. It's one of my favorite things. So I'm going to let him go get ready. And
you just got big and sexy now on my screen.
What's that?
Said you just got big and sexy on the screen. You take half of it now.
But anyway, the next thing I want to give you a chance to talk about a little, Eric, is promote. Obviously, like what do you got coming out? What do you got going on?
Yeah, absolutely. So I play in a band called the Northern Lights. We are an original band here in Chicago. A couple members that some of you listeners that know who we are might know Frankie Haircut, who also plays with Scott DeBose, and he fills in with Rendition a lot.
Yeah,
another guy that's
great drummer,
a fantastic drummer and a fantastic person, and he's doing what we all kind of are doing. You use the cover band scene to make your money and make your connections, and then when you write music together, there's no pressure to do it for any other reason than the product. So, and my guitar player, Nate Vondrak, he's fantastic, and he's done the same thing. He's been in Suburban Cowboys for the last, 6 years or so. We have a couple singles out right now. We just released a new one this week called Shine On, which we mixed. We had it mixed by the original guitar player, founder of Candlebox.
Oh, that's so awesome. I love Candlebox.
Yeah, they're a great band, a huge influence on me. And then before that, we just released a single called American Honey, which was actually mastered by Peter of Candlebox, and Nate Vondrak actually did the mixing on that one.
Wow.
And we're currently working on a cover that we're going to release on Spotify with a video, kind of a quarantine video. I'm not going to tell you what it is, but I'll give you a hint. It's a Cadillac 3 song, of course. A band that we borrow from, heavily, at least I do in my songwriting, because it's kind of that. They're one of those bands that kind of, they have that nostalgic kind of theme to their music, but they portray it in a whole different way than, the modern country. So it's a little more rock and roll. It's a little more my roots with the country themes that I like. And then after that comes out, we really don't know what's going to happen with this quarantine stuff. We had a lot of great shows lined up over the summer that obviously are not going to happen. So we're probably going to use that time to start recording an album. And we already have, a handful of those songs written that we've been playing live. Just haven't had the time between all the shows and the weekends with the cover bands to actually start tracking the music,
Yeah, I've been telling a lot of people that, like this quarantine time, a lot of people are just kind of bummed that we're not playing. And trust me, it's like I was playing almost every weekend as well. But, I've thought about doing this show forever. And, I'm like, let's use the downtime to like kind of, do some things that are fulfilling, that'll be personally fulfilling. And, I think if you're a musician too, like writing some tunes and experimenting a little bit. I saw that one of my friends, Mark Ticelli and some of his, and Greg Rapp and them just put out like this, they're calling like the Tenderoni Band, and they're doing like smooth jams, and they just did a cool video, and it's kind of like this quarantine project that they're doing. But it's giving them like a nice outlet to try something else, and explore different genres and make videos and, get your skills up. And obviously running a podcast live stream is something I wanted to do. And I've had some great people like Ethan Michael and stuff help me, kind of figure out what I need to do to get a live stream and a podcast going. You know what I mean? So, I mean, I think what you're doing, is the right angle of during this quarantine COVID business. And who knows what the new norm is going to look like when we all come out of this. I don't know if it's not like they're going to open it up in June and all of a sudden we're all going to have gigs again. I think it's going to be a slow moving kind of thing. And I hope that some people figure out good ways to get musicians back to work. But I mean, I think that people like yourself and stuff and myself who are going to take this time, and I know Megan from Wedding Band is starting a project and collaborating with people to create music and keep themselves relevant. Those who are just going to sit on their hands and go, "Oh, our band can't play anymore." It's going to be a longer road back than people who are doing stuff now to keep themselves relevant.
Yeah, I agree, man. This is one of those situations in life that it's historical. You're going to remember this coronavirus pandemic for the rest of your life. And the way that I look at it, I want to look back in 20 years and be like, yeah, I remember that those couple months or whatever, that half a year in 2020 that we were quarantined. I remember I wrote like a song a day for like 2 months, or like I want to look back and be like, I remember my band took that time to record an album. Not only did I get a bunch of stuff done around the house, I did a bunch of new design for Old Wise, my clothing line, which if you're listening, oldwiseclothing.com, where you do endorsements for bands. So reach out if you guys are looking for some awesome stuff. Trucker hats, denim jackets, t-shirts, thongs, whatever you want. But I think that in a time like this that you're going to remember for the rest of your life, you want to look back and remember it positively, or as positively as you can.
As you can.
Know that you were productive.
Yeah, I 100% agree. Well, we're going to sit back. We're going to get buzzed a little bit, and we're going to watch Jason play a couple songs on the piano, and then we're going to come back and then have Eric roll maybe an exclusive original acoustic tune for us. And then we'll wrap the show up. But thanks for joining us. And without further ado, here's Jason Heidel on the piano.
Hi there. I actually don't play piano, but I'm going to attempt to for a few songs. The weird thing about being in tribute bands is you'd think I would know how to play a lot of other songs, but I don't. I was that kid who found a guitar and like August Rush found the sound, only way less talented and better dimples. So I'm going to do a song that I wrote last year for a time in my life that I was going through a lot of turbulence, if you will. And I found it time to grab my parachute and land. So this is Geronimo. On the fence, on the net, are the sticks and stones finally winning? Don't hold your breath, they'll never change. Don't let their poison eat away another day. They'll turn their backs, you're brighter anyway. And you can't see you're here to save me. You wanna take the last flight out, grab your parachute, it's a long way down. Geronimo, I hate to let you go, but if I don't, we both are going down. Find your way back home, back here on the ground. I'm here to catch you, I won't even make a sound. 'Cause you deserve to love out loud. Love out loud. Too serious, why not? fly out. Grab your parachute, it's a long way down. Run, Mom, I hate to let you go, but if I don't, we both are going down. Find your way back home, back here on the ground. I'm here to catch you, I won't even make a sound. 'Cause you deserve to love out loud. Love out loud. Hold you run, oh, I hate to let you go. If I don't, we both are going down. Find your way back home, and I'm here on the ground. I'm here to catch you, I won't even make a sound. 'Cause you deserve to love out loud. 'Cause you deserve to love out loud. 'Cause you deserve to love out loud. Love out loud. Run, Mom. Thank you. I think one more. I can't. This isn't a real backstage, so I'm really pointing at no one. All right, cool. I'm gonna do another one because no one's stopping me. Oh, hi. He's back. I can't even hear you. Hold on. This wasn't thought out on my end. So what should I do now? One more? I got one more. I'm reading your lips. I'm going to say that that's a yes. I got no earphones in, so I'm just going to assume, and we'll see if it goes on. Hey, he's letting me stay. This works. All right. I'm going to play one from when I was a kid. I sat in a piano room for lunchtime in high school. And instead of sitting at lunch with people, I sat in rooms and wrote songs. And so this was the first one. This is Give Love a Chance. Something about you I just can't ignore. The more I think about it, the more I adore you. I need you like the air I breathe. Only if you notice me. What is your name? Can you tell me now? 'Cause you're driving me insane. And I don't know how. No one ever believed in love. First or second glance. Maybe this time I'll give love a chance. Something about you I just can't ignore. Minute hand never left the night. That's in your eyes, my lips met mine. And my whole life passed me by. What is your name? Can you tell me now? 'Cause you're driving me insane. And I don't know how. No one ever believed in love. First or second glance. Maybe this time I'll give love a chance. I give it all to you. Do everything I do the opposite. I give it all to you. Do I give it all to you? Oh, it's true. Oh, it's true. I give it to you. What is your name? You're driving me insane, and I don't know how. I never believed in love at first a second glance, but maybe this time I'll give love a love, give love the chance. Ha! That's it. Haven't played that in a long time. Hope you guys liked it. Thanks for having me, Justin. I should put headphones on so I could hear you properly.
Thank you so much.
No, thank you, bro. That was fun.
So if you want to catch Jason Heidel, you can see him on a bunch of Facebook pages. Legends of Tomorrow, LLP, which this show is produced by. MakeGrandmaSmile.com. He's a singer of one of the lead singers of Motown Nation and the Lincoln Park Experience, the Lincoln Experience. So if you want to go see Jason or hit him up about anything that has to do with any of his band business stuff, hit him at info at legendsoftomorrow.ent.com. And we're going to turn it over to my buddy Eric Perryman, who's going to give us maybe an exclusive original acoustic, right, buddy? Wait, hold on, I gotta unmute you.
Hey.
There you go.
Isn't every original exclusive, right?
Well, you're exclusive to this show. It's good. People have never heard you, so they're gonna take a gander right now.
Well,
take it away, buddy.
Feel bad for the ones listening now, huh? All right. No, I'm gonna start you off. I wasn't gonna do this one tonight because I just released an acoustic video for this, but I was sound checking with it, and Justin says that he likes it. So, as a little toast to the host, here's a song called "Slow Down." Original song of ours, has not been released yet, but surely will be. It goes like this. Do a short version for y'all. I've been twisting, turning, a helpless world with this hook stuck right inside of me. I've been too deep hazed in intoxication, living in a plastic dream. That's right. I've been churning, chopping, nickel diamond, casting stones into the wind. I'm on hook in something that turned to nothing. Thought I was chalking up a win. I gotta slow down, as slow as I can go. Break down all the walls that they uphold. Get back, honey, back to what I know. Slow down, as slow as I can go. Almost chewed up, spit out, escaped with no doubt. The hunger kept me pushing through. Look and look out, found rain in the drought, and all I really had to do was slow down, slow as I can go. Break down all the walls that they uphold. Get back to what I know. Slow down, as slow as I can go. Ring around the rosy window, like it's green. We see it our eagles ring around the rosy we go. Like it's spring, we feed our eagles. Gotta slow down, slow as I can go, break down all the walls that they uphold, keep there, back to what I know, and slow down, slow as I can go, slow as I can go, yeah. On as slow as I can go, slow as I can go, yeah. Oh, slow as I can go. That's usually what they tell me when I start drinking. Slow down.
Very nice. You want to do one more for us and close us out?
Oh, shit. All right. I'll do a song I've never done before, acoustic.
Oh, that'll be nice. Once again, this is Eric Perryman. You can find him at Listen to the Northern Lights on Instagram and Facebook. You can also catch any of his cool new styles with Old Wise. I expect a shirt for the plug. I need one of those shirts. I like the new ringer tees that you got out. I just saw the ad for that. So
yeah, I got trucker hats coming in a couple of days too. So I have a whole new line.
Yeah, man.
Again, any bands, we do endorsements for local artists, regional artists. You guys,
that's awesome.
Looking for some cool stage gear. We offer some pretty nice discounts. A couple different tiers depending on where you're at in your career. But hit us up, on Facebook, Instagram, oldwiseclothing.com if you want to go to that too. Do one more song for you guys. It's a new single that we just released with the Northern Lights.
Hey, brother.
Just so happens to be in the same key of the last song. And I have to acoustify this a little bit. So this song's called Shine On. It's pretty appropriate, for what's going on right now. And it's just a nice song about, going through trials and tribulations in life and going down in holes and going down, different avenues that you don't want to go down. And at the end of the day, you just have to shine on because life is not very long. So find a light, no matter what tunnel you go down. This is called Shine On. Waiting, yeah. Drives me crazy, yeah. Down keeps moving on, stranded in the place I started from, wasted, yeah. Intoxicated, yeah. Spinning around and down, been feeling like a king without a crown. There comes a time when every band must break. So shine on. Life doesn't last that long if you don't shine on. Love just might do you wrong. I'm still faded, yeah. 'cause time's still moving on. We're holding on to love and all wrong. Leave it behind with every step you take. So shine on. Life doesn't last that long. Shine on. You'll find where you belong. So shine on. Life doesn't last that long if you don't shine on. You'll find where you belong. Gonna shine on. Life doesn't last that long if you don't shine on. You'll find where you belong. Something like that. I actually messed up the words in my own song a couple times because it's so fresh.
Nobody knows that though, because
Nobody knows that, but I feel like being honest.
I look forward to hearing the single. When's the single coming out?
It's out. It's been out for about 2 days right now, so you can check that out.
Where can we find it?
Spotify,
On Spotify,
Apple Music, iTunes, any streaming platform. You can just look for the Northern Lights. So there's a couple bands called the Northern Lights, which we weren't aware of how many there were when we started this band with the name, but we love the name enough to keep it. So you just got to type in the Northern Lights Shine On, and it'll come up. And once you reach our page on that, you'll see all the rest of our songs as well. So
awesome. Well, once again, Eric, I got to thank you. Thank you for doing my very first show. I love you, buddy. This has been fantastic. And, we look forward to hanging out again. I think the last time we saw each other was Super Bowl when we got really drunk.
I think I'm still a little hungover from that.
That was pretty rough.
I'm a 49ers fan living in Chicago, so say what you will, but I'll see you guys in the playoffs.
But hey, buddy, cheers, man. Thanks for getting buzzed with me tonight. Thanks for hanging out. We appreciate it.
Definitely,
let me bring Jason back on. Jason. I can't hear you, Jason. Wait, here we go. What did you say?
You were allowed to drink this whole time? I've been keeping it off camera.
This is the band buzz. You're supposed to get buzzed while we're doing it. Like,
okay, so I thought we meant buzz like BuzzFeed, not buzz like buzzed. Okay, I'm caught up. I'm caught up. No. Congrats on your first show, Justin. Cheers, buddy.
Thank you so much. Cheers, everybody. Thanks for making my dreams come true. Thanks for making this podcast get off the ground. I can't thank Jason enough for getting some of the videos and animations and stuff like that done for me. My buddy Eric right here, who did the Band Buzz logo. So I felt it appropriate to make you guys a part of the very first show. I love you both. Thank you so much for coming on. I'm going to give a quick shout out and get off the air here, but thank you guys so much. Well, that is the show, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you enjoyed the live performances from Eric Perryman. Again, go check him out. Listen to the Northern Lights on Facebook. Go listen to his new single, Shine On. Also catch him on Instagram at Listen to the Northern Lights. His clothing company, Old Wise Clothing Company. Jason Heidel, my buddy, my business partner. And you can check him out at Make Grandma Smile, where he's doing wonderful things with talented young people, getting in touch with senior communities and helping Alzheimer's in a big way. Legends of Tomorrow Entertainment, tribute band. If you got a band or you're wondering how to do some marketing, and he's got his patented band Bible that him and Ellie Cole wrote. So hit him at info@legendsoftomorrow.com. And I want to thank my friends and girls at Arbonne. I actually use some of the Arbonne products myself. I just ordered the new strawberry shake, protein shake, and I use the pain cream all the time. And you can get a hold of my girl, Beth Hollister, who's also my massage therapist, who got me getting into these products. But I tell you what, I use them. I've never felt better. I'm losing weight. I'm staying fit. I feel great. So you can find her at tranquil.solutions on Instagram. And another friend of mine who also does Arbonne, she's amazing. She's an amazing volleyball player. She's a great person. You can find her at the Health Hustle with Andrea. So Health Hustle with Andrea, or email her at andreagraves24@gmail.com and ask them about those great Arbonne products. They're wonderful consultants. They'll point you in the right direction. So if you just need some skin cream or some detox tea or something like that, go check them out. They're awesome people. Thank you so much. Thanks for joining me. And we'll see you next Thirsty Thursday.